Did you
But
feel like kind of advanced though, going,
It's it's
education wise?
it's funny you say that. I still remember our first full day of classes. I was still learning a schedule because I never changed classes in a Catholic school. We had two eighth grade classes, 13 kids per class. So the
Mm,
one teacher taught everything, you know?
right.
So yeah, I remember Regents 9 English. We started off by just having people read so many sentences out of a book, and just, kept moving on person to person. I remember listening to this kid, and it was truly like Billy Madison, where he's trying to sound out the words. And I remember at the end of the class, I went up to the teacher. I said, "Listen," I said, "I don't know if I'm in the right class." She goes, "Well, let's see your schedule." So I handed it to her. She goes, "Ah, you're Regents 9." I said, "Just out of curiosity, some of these kids can't even read." And she's like, "What school did you come from?" I said, "I came from North Tonawanda Catholic." And she goes, "Oh." She goes, "You're a private school kid." I said, "What's that supposed to mean?" She goes, "You're going to realize that you're going to be a little bit more further along than some of these students that we have in this school because of we had more one-on-one attention. Smaller classrooms, more intimate. The teachers stayed on you, to make sure your work got done and would hold you
Mhm.
after class. And so it really was a big difference for me going into high school. But by the end of ninth grade, I was in the same realm as the rest of them. I just became a teenager and just started being a little bit rebellious myself.
Being a
that scene in
shit.
that scene in Billy Madison. Today, Junior.
Uh,
That's
I still
exactly
use
what
that.
I thought when he. Yes.
I still use that line to this day. But and then, but like my Catholic school experience didn't end going to a public high school. I ended up having to go to religion classes so I can make my confirmation. So I
Uh,
still had another
yeah.
2.5 years of religion, freshman, sophomore, and then half my junior year. So I still had to go back to my old school on the weekends and do religion classes. So that only gave us an opportunity to mess with the old people at the church. We we would go on break or at the end of the class, and they would have bingo downstairs. And remember, we got this the bottle of that fart smelling stuff, and and I'll never forget. We're standing at the top of the stairs, and you have to go down. So we take the bottle, and I touchdown spike it right down the bottom of the stairs,
I was
and we.
waiting for you to like a couple spritzes, but that's.
No, no, I threw this thing like a grenade. I threw the whole bottle, and you could hear the glass break, and within about 2 minutes, you could hear people just start yelling. They all they all come running out. They all come running outside. I felt